8 o'clock, and you're watching WGXA Morning News right here on Fox 24. As you all know, today is Election Day, and we are working for you this morning. We're going to have live team coverage throughout our morning newscast. Our meteorologist, Daniel McFarland, he's standing by. He's going to be bringing us all the latest election forecasts for those of you heading out to the polls this morning. Then we're going to check in with our very own Amaris Jenkins, who's live in Houston County as residents there get ready to cast their ballots. Then we'll check in with my co-anchor, Victoria DeCardenas, who's live in Lawrence County as residents also get ready to vote there. It's a busy day here at WGXA and throughout Middle Georgia, so definitely be sure to stick with us all day for all of your Election Day coverage. And like I just mentioned, Lawrence County is heading to the polls this morning. That's where WGXA's Victoria DeCardenas, she's been there live all morning. So good morning, Victoria. Voters in Dexter, I'm told they're heading to the polls right now.
Good morning, Terrell. That's right. The voters in Dexter and all throughout Lawrence County should be heading to the polls. It's our civic duty to, right? The polls have been open for about an hour now. They're open until 7 o'clock this evening, so there's no excuse as to why you're not going to the polls. But we do want to break down for the city of Dexter exactly what's going to be on the ballot today. And thankfully, we have that sample ballot for you just so you can get a sneak preview before you head on over to your designating polling place. Now, voters are going to be voting for mayor who is running unopposed for this election day. But they're also voting for some city council members. They're voting for 3 of them. 3 of the candidates are incumbents, and they include Michael C. Coleman, Byron Howell, and Troy Wood. But they also have the chance to vote for Danielle Lawhorn and Danya Snap. But remember, you do have to vote for 3 of those 5 candidates. That's the one that we're talking about specifically, only because that one is a bit different. It's not like you're voting for one person. You're voting for 3, and some of the other people that are running unopposed. But that's not to say you can't write somebody in as well. Now, that's just for the city of Dexter, but we have been talking about it all morning. Lawrence County as a whole is also voting for East Blast as well. We've covered that extensively here at WGXA. We have a web story on our website, WGXA.tv, if you want to deep dive into that a little bit further before you make your way to the polls. But we do know that that's one big thing here in Lawrence County, but there's a big issue happening in Houston County, and that's where we find our own Amaris Jenkins. She's live there in Houston County as voters are also heading to the polls. Amaris, what can people expect as they make their way to the polls and cast their ballots?
Yeah, Victoria, as you know, early voting began last Tuesday, and today Warner Robins residents will come together and vote for the city council. Now, officials tell me there's 8 candidates altogether competing for 3 seats. Now, on that list, we have Stephen Boyer, Charlie Bibb, and Eric Langston, who are all competing for the Post 2 seat. That seat was formerly held by Carolyn Robbins. Robbins passed away last month, and I did get to speak to Charlie Bibb and Eric Langston, who were both positive about winning. Here's what the 2 had to say.
I'm looking to bring transparency, trust, fiscal responsibility with the taxpayers' money, and bring unity back to the city council.
I see so much potential, untapped potential, potential that's ready to be unleashed, potential that can set us apart from the rest of the folks in the region. And city council has an enormous role to play to ensure we leverage any and all opportunities and we take advantage of any and all potential.
Now, I did reach out to Stephen Boyer as well, and I am waiting to hear back from him on giving me a statement on what he's looking forward to if he wins today as well. But coming up within the next half hour, I will let you know who's on the Post 4 and Post 6 ballot. Live in Houston County, Amaris Jenkins, WGXA News.
All right, thanks so much for those live reports. And with all the Election Day coverage, we want your photos if you're voting this morning. Just go to WGXA.tv/chime in or use our WGXA News app. Click the Explore tab and then scroll on down to chime in. We have a special bubble for you to use this Election Day called Post the Peach. Make sure you include your name so we can give you guys a shout out on air. And on the national election scene, voters in Kentucky, Mississippi, and Virginia have important choices, and the outcome could shed light on the mood of the country heading into the presidential election next year. With the impeachment inquiry looming, Kentucky and Mississippi, 2 strong red states that Trump won in 2016, will decide on their next governors. And in Virginia, Democrats are fighting to flip control of both chambers of the state legislature. Democrats made major gains in the state House of Delegates in 2017, but a contested recount ended in a lottery drawing that ultimately gave Republicans control.
And one thing I want to point out to you, if you are going out to vote today, is that you're not going to be running into too much rain out there. Yes, there's some small rain chances during the middle of the afternoon, but I don't want you to be concerned about those because it's going to be lighter showers, about 10 to 15 minutes at absolute most, and a majority of us, a vast majority of us, will not be dealing with that rain at all. So if you want to go out and vote last minute, I don't think there's any good chance of rain there. Same thing with right now. So those are your two times if you want to completely avoid any chance of rain out there. Now, of course, the temperatures are going to be something to watch for during both of those times. Right now, Macon's at 58. You're seeing Warner Robins at 55, and then down I-16 closer towards Dublin is looking at 54 degrees, while Forsyth is at 51 to start things off for the day today. The radar is clear in the mid-state. We're not looking at any rain here, but up towards the north, Atlanta is starting to deal with some of the showers. This is what's going to begin to make its way down here into the mid-state. So coming up in about 10 minutes, I want to talk more about your rain chances and let you know when those should wrap up.
Sticking with the weather, as the temperatures are slowly cooling down, homeowners may want to start being on the lookout for pests. Experts say they're expecting rodents, roaches, and ants to be some of the biggest threats for homeowners this fall and winter. We actually asked Ben Dupree of Arrows Exterminators if the weather has any correlation on how pests respond. We're told bugs and rodents do the opposite of what we might think. However, as temperatures are forecast to be below normal starting this month, insects and rodents will be looking for shelter.
This winter is probably going to be more busy with rodents and squirrels. Not to say that roaches, but you're going to see more of them because they're trying to come inside, just like I said, trying to seek shelter and that kind of thing. But squirrels usually start nesting or mating September through April, so they're looking for places to nest, so you're probably going to have more of an influx of squirrels trying to chew into gables to get inside people's attics. So just kind of be on the lookout for that.
Dupree also says that it's usually during a switch between weather extremes, like when it's really hot and dry, to really cold and wet, that they may receive many of their calls. However, as the seasons change, it would still be a good idea for homeowners to be prepared. Well, Texas EquiSearch is now involved in a search for missing Alabama student Anaya Blanchard. The search and recovery nonprofit joined the operation before Church in Montgomery held a prayer vigil for her just on Monday. The 19-year-old was last seen on October the 23rd in Auburn, about an hour away. Police believe she was harmed, but it's still unclear what exactly happened to her. Members of the Open Door Christian Faith Worship Center, where the prayer vigil was held, say there's still hope for Blanchard.
Doesn't matter how many days, how much time, it's not over until he says it's over. No matter how it might look, we still have faith.
Blanchard is the stepdaughter of UFC heavyweight fighter Walt Harris. And history has been made for the largest number of inmates released at one time. We'll tell you how many and where.